If you've ever sworn, I'm going to live below my means this month, and then watched the month eat your paycheck like it was a snack, this episode is for you. Living below your means isn't about becoming a month, canceling joy, or memorizing 1,000 budgeting categories. It's about making your ordinary week just cheap enough and just organized enough that saving happens on autopilot, while your life still feels like your life. The trick is not heroic self-control, it's gentle choreography. When your money has a set of rails to run on, your average Tuesday quietly pays your future first. Over time, that turns into options, calm, and a savings rate that doesn't require you to fight yourself every day. Let's start by rewriting the definition. Living below your means is not a moral badge or a magic number. It's a feeling in your calendar. Bills draft without drama. Groceries live under a weekly roof you set on purpose. Small emergencies become invoices instead of disasters, and your savings transfers leave before your mood wakes up. If those 4 sentences describe your month, you are already living below your means, even if you're not clipping coupons or playing spreadsheet Olympics. Our goal today is to build that feeling step by step, so you save more without feeling smaller. The first move is plumbing. Most people try to live below their means by thinking harder. That fails the moment you're tired, bored, stressed, or celebrating. So we rearrange the room. All income lands in a staging account with no card attached. Think of it as a quiet waiting room where your money catches its breath. In week 1 of your cycle, a bills-only account drafts the essentials that keep a simple life running. Rent or mortgage plus the maintenance that prevents bigger repairs later. Utilities and baseline internet, transportation you actually use, insurance that moves catastrophe off your balance sheet, and minimum payments on any debt. The day after payday, small automatic transfers refill labeled pockets for predictable surprises. Car repairs, medical co-pays and prescriptions, seasonal energy spikes, modest gifts and social plans, kids or pets, subscriptions you truly use, and those annual renewals that used to ambush you. Every Friday morning, a weekly spending card reloads with the amount that carries groceries and ordinary life for 7 days. On payday itself, your savings transfer and investing drip leave staging before your feelings log on. With those rails installed, you stop hosting a knife fight between rent and takeout at every checkout. You didn't become a different person, you made the room safer for the person you already are. Now we build your floor, the single biggest lever for living below your means. Emergencies are expensive because they compress time. Without a buffer, a flat tire becomes a 24% APR problem, and a dentist turns into a late fee plus panic. Your floor lives in a separate account you don't swipe from, ideally at a bank you don't check every hour, labeled in a way that even your future self can't ignore. Floor, do not touch. The first milestone is 1 month of essential expenses. Essentials are not everything you enjoy. They're the bills that keep a basic version of life functioning: housing, utilities, connection, transport, insurance, minimum debt payments, and decent food. After that, grow toward 3 to 6 months depending on your income stability. If the target looks ridiculous right now, shrink the unit until it's survivable. 10 or 20 every payday, automated. Floors don't make emergencies disappear, they turn emergencies into invoices you can pay without torching your plan or raiding your credit card. And here's the quiet magic. People who feel safe spend less to feel safe. A floor makes restraint feel like relief instead of deprivation. With plumbing and a floor in place, we shrink the weekly burn without shrinking your life. The weekly reload is how. Instead of trying to predict 12 months of feelings, you set a reasonable, repeatable number for groceries and ordinary life, and then you stand under that roof. The first Friday you might miss and you'll be annoyed. The second Friday you'll adjust the number. By the third Friday, your brain will stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Does it fit under the roof?" Decision fatigue drops. Dumb purchases decline. If you love data, keep a simple weekly note with your 3 largest spends and how they felt. If you hate data, the reload itself is the budget. It caps drift without stealing your time. Next, we'll cut the quiet taxes that keep middle-class people broke: late fees, subscriptions they no longer use, and leaking utilities. Once a week at lunch, run a 5-minute rebuy ritual. Open your accounts, scroll through recurring charges and recent subscriptions, and ask out loud for each: Would I buy this again today at this price if it vanished tonight? If the answer is no, cancel it right then and there while the tab is open. Route the exact amount you just freed to your floor or investments before you close the browser. Once a quarter, make polite money calls to internet, phone, and insurance vendors. Ask for the current retention offer. Be willing to switch. Every permanent dollar you shave off monthly burn is roughly $30,000 you don't need to hold in retirement assets at a 4% rule of thumb. Quiet compression of fixed costs is how you save more without feeling smaller. Attention discipline is the habit that makes the rest of this easy. Your phone is a mall disguised as a tool. Turn off red notification badges that aren't about safety or work. Move shopping and trading apps 2 swipes away. Log out of autofill checkouts and delete saved cards so a purchase takes friction you can feel. Install a weekly buy window so non-essentials wait until Saturday morning. Most impulses die in captivity. When a desire doesn't survive the wait, move the exact price into a savings pocket called Cart Rescue. You're paying yourself to be patient. Closets calm down, accounts fatten, anxiety loosens its grip because you're no longer trying to out-argue dopamine 10 times a day. Living below your means is 90% environment, 10% heroics. Let's talk food, because groceries and eating out are where budgets secretly hemorrhage. The goal isn't to ban restaurants, it's to stop paying a second rent to takeout because you're exhausted and the fridge is empty. On Sunday, write 2 exhausted night dinners on a whiteboard and put them in your freezer. Meals that go from freezer to plate in under 15 minutes with no chopping and minimal dishes. Every evening, glance at the board and either cross one off or prep tomorrow's lunch while you're already in the kitchen. Keep the food plumbing simple. A list of 10 dinners your household reliably eats, a grocery list that never starts from zero, and a rule that fresh ingredients ride on the back of sturdy staples. Rotate in a new recipe on your terms, not because your mood hijacked your app at 7:13 p.m. The cheapest meal is the one you actually eat. Align your kitchen with your tired self, not your best intentions. Transportation is the next biggest lever. A cheap home far from your life quietly bills you a second rent in fuel, tires, parking, surge rides, and takeout from fatigue. Smaller near beats bigger far for both cash and energy. If a move isn't realistic, compress what you can. Batch errands, share rides, negotiate transit passes, and maintain what you own like it's rent. Tire pressure, oil changes, brake checks, wiper blades. Boring, yes, and exactly the items that turn small costs into $1,000 problems when ignored. A well-maintained, modest car is a financial superpower. A prestige car is a subscription you fund with your freedom. Home itself is not just a number, it's a rhythm. Choose a payment you can carry during a boring year. If you rent, don't rent to your aspirational self, rent to your actual week with half an eye on how quickly you can get home, grocery shop, and rest without heroic logistics. If you buy, treat the mortgage like a fixed cost in the worst quarter you remember, not a flex in the best month you had. Home equity feels like income. It is not. Living below your means often means choosing proximity and simplicity over granite and square footage. You will forget the counters in a month. You will feel the commute every day. Clothes, gadgets, and gear can quietly sabotage a budget because they mix identity with money. Adopt procurement policy. Fewer, better, longer. Buy used where depreciation is violent. Buy excellence where failure is expensive. Cars 2 to 4 years off the lot with clean histories. Solid wood furniture you can repair. Hobby gear from optimistic quitters. Spend unusually well on what carries your life. Shoes that protect your body. A mattress that decides your energy. A coat that beats your weather. And the tools you use to earn. Translate price into time and upkeep. If after taxes, the jacket costs 10 hours plus cleaning plus eventual replacement, be sure it's worth the hours. Rich feeling, poor outcome purchases usually die when you put them in hours instead of dollars. Debt can live inside a plan or make you a tenant in your own life. To live below your means, treat debt like a project with a finish line. Automate minimums from bills only so you never pay to remember. Choose one target balance for your over-minimum attack, either the smallest for psychological wins or the highest rate for mathematical wins, and hit it on payday. If a 0% balance transfer buys breathing room, use it. Freeze the old card and set a reminder 2 weeks before the promo ends. Debt attached to productive assets at low fixed rates can coexist with a savings habit. Debt attached to boredom and costumes cannot. The rule is simple. If the obligation doesn't make the next 100 weeks cheaper or calmer, it doesn't earn a spot in your life. Insurance is not just a bill, it's how you keep a bad day from becoming a bad decade. Buy coverage for ruin, not for annoyances. Health insurance appropriate to your life. Term life if someone depends on your income. Disability insurance because your ability to earn is your biggest asset early on. And liability coverage matched to your real risks. Deductibles should match your floor. Review annually. Skip glitter products that pay when the sun's out and hide when it rains. The cheapest way to live below your means is to avoid ruin. Maintenance is the least glamorous savings tactic and the most effective. Put 2 money in maintenance days on your calendar each year. On those days, rebalance investments, project taxes, verify beneficiaries and titles, shop insurance, rotate passwords, run backups, change filters, check tires, restock first aid, and replace the small part before it breaks the big one. You'll never trend for doing this. You'll also stop paying crisis pricing and last-minute premiums, which is exactly how ordinary families fall behind. Now let's turn to income, because saving more gets easier when your pay makes sense to other people. Raises and rate increases don't show up because you work hard. They show up because outcomes are easy to hire. Once a week, write 1 sentence that links your hours to a result. Minutes saved by a process you built, errors prevented by a checklist you created, refunds reduced by a message you rewrote, revenue added by a small tweak you shipped. 6 months of those sentences is a raise case made of receipts. If you're self-employed, any outcome you deliver twice should be productized. Give it a name, a simple scope, and a price. Calendar Tamer for clinics is a sellable package. I Do Everything is a recipe for underpayment. More income minus the same lifestyle equals living below your means without feeling pinched. If you're tempted to fill an empty weekend with cheap fun that turns expensive, preload your calendar with 2 cheap joys you already paid for: a weekly walk with a friend, a library hold list and a coffee thermos, a pickup game, a home movie night with popcorn and a blanket, a pasta night where friends bring 1 ingredient each. Boredom purchases are a tax on unplanned time. When your calendar contains small delights, you stop using shopping to give your week a plot. Let's make this lived in with 3 real portraits of households who cut burn and raised savings without adopting a personality they couldn't keep. A nurse on rotating shifts was drowning in surge rides, delivery, and overdrafts, not because she was irresponsible, but because exhaustion is expensive. On a Sunday, she installed Rails. Income to staging, no card. Week 1 bills from bills only. Day after payday pocket refills. Friday weekly reload. She put 2 exhausted night dinners in the freezer and wrote their names on a whiteboard. Shopping apps left her home screen, red badges turned off unless they were about safety or work. She auto-enrolled in her workplace plan at 10%, captured the match, chose a low-cost target date fund, and set a 1% auto increase. She documented a med-cart layout that saved 12 minutes per shift change and earned a small stipend implementing it at a neighboring clinic. That retainer covered her car insurance. 90 days later, late fees were fossils. Her floor held the first month of essentials, and her savings rate rose without feeling like punishment. She didn't quit restaurants, she quit emergencies. 2 teachers lived an hour from school in a bargain. Distance billed them a second rent in fuel, tires, parking, childcare complexity, and takeout. They saved a 2-month floor and used part to move closer. 1 car disappeared. Groceries became a walk. Evenings returned. They rolled old 403Bs into the current plan, chose the cheapest index options, and set a birthday/half-birthday rebalance. One productized a school newsletter starter, sold twice a quarter to nearby districts, that covered daycare. Fixed costs fell, contribution rates rose. Their week felt like theirs. They didn't become misers, they became neighbors to their own lives. A self-employed designer rode a hot quarter into a status watch, a heavy camera she didn't use, and a club membership that turned into homework. She rebuilt as payroll. Invoices hit staging, a tax skim left immediately, a fixed salary landed in bills only, and a Friday reload carried weekly life. She sold the camera, paused the membership, and moved the cash to a tax reserve and thicker floor. She packaged Calendar Tamer for small clinics, online booking, autoresponders, intake forms into 2-hour blocks. 3 retainers covered the largest bill. Insurance got right-sized. A sabbatical fund appeared without touching the core portfolio. Markets moved, her plan did not. Her savings rate quietly climbed because her week quietly worked. If you feel late, you're not. Catch-up contributions exist for a reason. 1 more year of work does more than add savings. It shortens the withdrawal runway and can lift benefits. Thicken the bond sleeve to match your sleep, hold 1 to 2 years of withdrawals in cash-like assets, and let equities keep their long-term job. Rebalance by calendar. Spend from the buffer in rough years and refill the buffer in good years. Regret is not a plan. Sequence is. If you feel early and your income is tight, begin embarrassingly small. 5 or 10 every payday into the floor, 5 or 10 into a low-cost index fund, and a 1% auto increase each year or each raise. Add a 5-minute monthly rebuy ritual to cancel 1 subscription and route the exact dollars to your floor before closing the browser. Add a weekly buy window so non-essentials wait. Add 2 cheap joys so boredom stops recruiting your card. You're not trying to impress a spreadsheet, you're training a week to behave. There are myths you should ignore because they keep people overspending while believing they're doing it right. The first is that points and miles are savings. They can be, but only when you never pay interest and you were going to buy the thing anyway. Otherwise, they're discounts on things you wouldn't have bought without the gain. The second is that a raise automatically raises your life. It doesn't have to. Celebrate, then route the new money through staging like every other dollar and decide on purpose how much joins your weekly roof and how much adopts a bill through investments. The third is that minimalism means living with nothing. Real minimalism is living with exactly what makes your week work and nothing that requires you to pay ongoing rent in space, attention, or money for a life you don't even live. Measurement should be simple enough to survive. Once a month, take 5 quiet minutes and ask the same questions. Did bills draft without drama? Any late fees? Did the floor go up, down, or sideways? Did contributions happen on payday? Is it a rebalance month, and did you rebalance? Did you run the rebuy ritual and cancel anything you wouldn't buy again today at this price? Count, don't judge. Celebrate with a predetermined no-regret treat when the tally hits a threshold. You are training your nervous system to associate money with competence instead of cortisol. Now let's install this tonight, because living below your means begins when something in your room changes. Rename 2 bank accounts so even future you understands their job. Staging, no card, and bills only. Point all income to staging. Move auto pays for essentials to bills only, and ask vendors to drag due dates into week 1. Create a savings pocket labeled Floor, Do Not Touch, and turn on a transfer that's small enough to be laughable. Schedule a Friday morning weekly reload for groceries and ordinary life. Log into your retirement plan or brokerage, choose the cheapest broad index fund or a low-fee target date fund, and turn on auto dividend reinvestment and add an automatic contribution on payday, even if it's tiny. Move shopping and trading apps off your home screen and turn off red badges that aren't about safety or work. Tape your enough sentence inside a cabinet you open daily. Put 2 cheap joys on next week's calendar. Then write a single sentence that names the first bill an asset will adopt within 12 months. Dividends buy groceries, the Ally B Deluplex pays car insurance, newsletter starter pays daycare. Give it a date, put it where you'll see it. In 30 days, bills will draft without drama, and your weekly reload will feel like a roof you can stand under. In 60, late fees will be fossils, and your floor will hold a month of essentials. In 90, fixed costs will be lighter because the rebuy ritual and money calls did their quiet work. In 6 months, you'll have a raise case made of outcomes and a small, boring portfolio that ignores headlines. In a year, you'll swear you got lucky. You didn't. You got scheduled. Living below your means is not about living less. It's about buying your future before you buy another month of stress. When your week pays your future first, saving stops being a fight and becomes a side effect. The richest sensation on earth isn't a logo or a trip or a car. It's the absence of panic when you open your banking app and the quiet confidence that your plan doesn't need your best mood to work. Make the room boring. Let boredom make you rich. Save more by default, enjoy more on purpose, and watch your life feel bigger even as your burn gets smaller.